Morioh Cho Radio. We love Morioh Cho.
What a beautiful dwang. Welcome to this weird alternate episode of the Morioh Cho Radio broadcast, which it perfectly works because part 8, Jojolion, does take place in an alternate version of Morioh Cho. So we are here, we're doing this. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to call this, but I absolutely am reviewing chapter 85 of Jojolion. I wanted to talk about this part for so long, and I do not at all get to talk about this part enough. Everyone has just stopped reading it. I still ball around for the most part. So today I'm gonna talk about it. But before I hop into the specifics of this chapter 85 of Jojolion, I do want to talk about Jojolion in general a little bit. You will get my in-depth thoughts on the 8th episode of the podcast when we do talk about this part. Whether or not I have somebody else to talk about it with, or just me, you will get my full unfiltered thoughts about this part because it is actually my second favorite as of right now, and I think it has potential to become my favorite depending on how it concludes. My favorite part being Stone Ocean. I know Stone Ocean part 6, a lot of people have issues with it. I love part 6. I loved it from start to finish. The ending did not bother me. There was some dud stand battles, but I feel like every part has some dud stand battles. But Jolene is, to me, my favorite JoJo, my favorite lead. So it is what it is. That being said, when it comes to Jojolion, I feel like Jojolion is like a celebration of JoJo, and I feel like everything he's learned from part 1 to part 7, this part is like a amalgamation of everything that he's learned as a storyteller, especially a visual storyteller. And when he was able to make that switch from Shonen Jump to Ultra Jump, I felt like a lot more of his freedom and creativity. Well, I think he got a lot more freedom, and I feel like his creativity has been less stifled by some of the Jump editors, and I feel like he's just having more fun in general with some of the body horror things he's able to do. We can show titties now. Yes. We love it. His artwork has always been absolutely phenomenal. Everything about him as a storyteller from an aesthetic standpoint to me has been great since Phantom Blood, and watching him evolve as an artist has been a treat. Most people, when they get into a narrative, they have various reasons or various things they kind of gravitate to what they really like. You might like character, you might like humor, you might like romance, you like action, you like the story, world building, lore, whatever, X, Y, and Z. You have a thing you gravitate to. I like characters, right? The thing about me though is there really is no common denominator between various narratives that I like. If it resonates with me, it resonates with me. There really is no one thing you can link between all of my favorite stuff because they're so vastly different in genre, demographic, medium, whatever the case may be. But that being said, I absolutely adore Yashuo Hirose. She is literally like teetering on like top 1. I have her under Funny Valentine for now, but she's one of my favorite characters in general, and she's absolutely my favorite JoJo characters. And Paisley Parker is one of my favorite stands, especially as a utility stand. I think it's phenomenal. GPS, know what you're doing, be able to track the little option thing you have. Oh, bottle of water or cell phone. You pick one, and somehow the water bottle gonna make someone slip and fall into it. It has these weird combat uses as well, and I love it. She's beautiful. I would hydrate myself with her saliva if I could. Wait, hacked. Whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, she's absolutely phenomenal character. I love her. I'm a big fan of like romance, and this to me feels like the first JoJo part where there is a real romantic subplot between her and Josuke, right? Gappy. I'll call him Gappy, I guess, for now. And to me it's organic, and it makes a lot of sense based off how they met, the intrigue. She felt like, okay, why does he have 4 testicles? And then she kind of felt responsible for a bit. Then the thing happened with, you know, the trapped girl in the bathtub, and, you know, she came back, and then it kind of flourished from there, I would say. So I needed to succeed. I need to watch it grow. I care about it a lot. Another thing about Jojolion that I personally appreciate is that this is Morioh Cho, right? Morioh Town, and it's an alternate version of it, but it feels vastly different from the one in Diamond is Unbreakable, despite being its own little contained town with weird things happening. But there's so many things that he's taking from DIU that I like, but he's done it in such a fashion where it's like, oh, it's like a blatant copy. Like, no. He may have used like this as a template for this concept in part 8, but not at all did he just recreate it or copy it or try to like Hiro Mashima it, where like this just looks like Lucy Heartfilia to me and 8-0. You know what I'm saying? I think for me, the example, I could be wrong about this, but I always felt like the Rock humans were based off Angelo. When Josuke beat the fuck out of him, obviously he killed the grandpa, tried to fuck around with his mom and whatnot, beat him up, and turned him into that rock, the landscape in Morioh Cho, right? So I'm thinking the Rock humans were based off of that concept. So that to me is cool. I think of another one, Highway Star, phenomenal stand battle. I think we could all agree on that. And he has recreated that battle with Blue Hawaii. And I think Blue Hawaii is fantastic because we know how much Araki's he loves horror and he takes a lot of horror elements and incorporates that into his story. Phantom Blood was literally pretty much just vampires and whatnot. There's a lot of horror in that. He does a lot of body horror. And it felt kind of like a zombie thing, like the infection, you can't get rid of it, it was really cool. And I love how Yashuo was one who saved the day. She came through and saved him, like, she's the fucking GOAT, man. I love Gappy. I think he's a great lead. He murked 2 Rock niggas, like, yo, he's so gangster. Soft and Wet is definitely it. It's hitting. I like that when he went under equivalent exchange with Yoshikara Kira, and they kind of fused. He kept his ability, but he got the like explosive bubbles that Kira used to use when he was alive and well. Their relationship was pretty dope, I think. The stuff with Kira, the thing with his mom, with Joseph Fumi's mom was pretty sad. How she almost let him drown. That shit was just fucked up. But like, there's so much little things to love here. I'll talk about a couple more things and we'll hop into the chapter because I'm excited. I'm very excited. I don't know if you can tell. But Soft and Wet is great. I actually really like the Higashita Gata family here with Norisuke, Jobin, Daya, everyone, Kato, Hato. They're all great to me. I think they're really cool. The California King Bed to me was an interesting first stand battle. She's very cute, by the way. Josuke. I'm at a cave if I were you. I'm gonna hit. I like seeing close-ups of Josuke when his eyes are like split, half Kira, half Joshifume, half Kira, things like that. Shakedown Roll was cool. I thought that was interesting. And I gotta say this because I don't know how many of you guys know this, that I'm personally not a fan of Johnny Joestar. Johnny Joestar is a perfectly fine character. He is written great. He's solid. There's nothing wrong with his writing. He personally does not resonate with me, and he has always been my least favorite JoJo. Well, he's my least favorite JoJo. I think his final moments in Jojolion and what he did to save his wife and ultimately his son by stealing the saint's corpse and everything and taking using the rotation to take the curse into himself and dying for his family was an absolutely noble death and a way to go out to protect your family, and I absolutely loved it. To me, that is his best moment. Not because he died, I just thought it was very noble, and he's kind of an asshole, I think. So I like that a lot. Paper Moon Deception was great. Tsurugi is a character that I think is a good character. He kind of creeps me out. He's this weird kid. Stop doing that to Yasuo, please. But there's just so much to like here. I wouldn't even know where to go. I like the Rock human concept. I like the deluxe battle. I thought that was cool. I really have to briefly speak about the mom, Kato, and I don't think the family is treating her right. I would not hate my mom for what she did, in terms of like she was trying to save one of my siblings. Like they were bullying him and stuff, trying to get him to take naked picture of his mom, this and that, and the other. They're doing the most to him. Do you know what most mothers would do something along these lines? If you fuck with their kid, mothers are very protective in that range. And to me, did she go a little too far? Absolutely, sure, fine. But is it to me so egregious what she did to the point where it's like we don't fuck with her, fuck her, divorce, blah blah. She's not part of the family. Too much, especially when you think about how Jobin absolutely appreciates everything she did for him, and she he kept in contact with her. He's the one that he can come back, this and that, and the other. So it's like, treat her right. I can't wait to see when this true family dynamic blows up, when she really comes back and tries to take back what she wants and what she was owed or whatever. But yeah. Now, real quick, I gotta talk about my man with the stand, Doggy Style, because when Ryan Mamezuku turned his hand into a fucking crossbow, I said, hey, this is clean as hell. It's very much like, to me, Stone Free, but the way he uses it is so much different now. I think it was great, man. There's so many things I could talk about. I could go about the Jobin battle with the rhinoceros beetles. That was fucking awesome. Urban Gorilla, man. What was it? Ozone Baby, Poor Tom. Like, there's so much things I could talk about here, but I do want to get into the chapter, so we'll kind of leave it. I'll conclude my thoughts on Jojolion. I think it's a great part. I love this Morioh Cho. I like all the characters in here. I really love this family. Josuke and Yasuo are very important to me. I need to see it grow, see it flourish. I hope she doesn't die. You know how Jojo are kind of ruthless with the death, so I'll be a little worried. And yeah, man, let's hop into the chapter then for chapter 85. I'm not entirely how close we're to the end game of Jojolion, but chapter 85 to me was a great chapter. I think it was super solid. I loved everything that it set up and everything prior to that, and how it flowed into this chapter to me was very cohesive and seamless. I think it was great. Cover page is great. With he seeks his strength with Jobin. Jobin is kind of giving me a little bit of a headache. Let me tell you why. I'm having a hard time truly understanding his motives and motivation for what he is doing. I don't get him. I feel like every time he's kind of shown up and he's talking and he does stuff, I get a different vibe every time. Whereas before, it's kind of just fucking around, got my little Beatles, we gonna play, yes and now the other. And then, I don't know, I don't even know how to say it really, but like, when like with this new Rokaka fruit came out or whatever, and like it's like, don't you want to save your son? There's so many things that about him that I need to really kind of get, but I do like him. I think he's a pretty good character. He looks dope. Thank God his eyebrows are back. Having no eyebrows is not it, but I actually really liked how the chapter begun because he sees his wife, right? And the thing about me is you're gonna have the family dynamic or whatever, but sometimes I like to see them interact and see like the love. So when him and Mitsuba actually were like, he's like, oh, like, you know, did you get another like cosmetic surgery? I'm missing this much money, but like, I love your new nose. Oh, it's so cute. I'm taking it to the bed right now. Fucking silly. I'm like, hey man, first of all, that nose is not it, but I respect it. You love your wife no matter what kind of thing. And they're gonna get into it, and then, you know, they talk about Tsurugi like their fucking child, like a parent and like the parents would, or like, you know, wife and husband would. Like, our kid is in some shit, but I'll obviously protect our kid to the end. I don't give a fuck. And the cool thing about that is he could obviously in some shape relate to that because he knows, you know, what his mom did for him, right? So it's pretty cool in that sense. So that's part of the reason why I'm kind of like, what are you really up to? Are you an ally? Are you neutral? Are you an enemy? It's kind of hard to figure out. I thought his speech was really great. That was really cool. And then obviously he has like the new Rokaka fruit in the house, and she sees it. Having recently awakened 3 leaves, we know what happened with her equivalent exchange. I think she was losing her unborn child or fetus, whatever the case may be. So she ate the fruit, ate the like fetus parts, I guess. And the result was her nose got fucked up, but she didn't care. And she sees the fruit, she knows Yasuo wants it, and this is kind of sad because you see them kind of talk with the child and like, you know, have this kind of cute moment, but you know it's gonna fall apart eventually because obviously it seems that their motivations or motives are not on the same side. Does he know the look that they gave each other was kind of like a I don't know kind of thing? Oh, can I get a band-aid? And he's like, yeah, sure, we'll give it a second. It was like there was some tension there, and I don't know if he could figure out that she knows, but according to what Tsurugi said way back when Josuke wanted to like win the car and stuff with the stag beetle fight, he's like, yo, my dad is smart. So like if he learns what you're up to, he'll just shut it down. So just kind of be careful. He's pretty smart. So yeah, that was like a great kind of introduction part of the chapter. All the artwork and paneling was really great to me. I like the panel of like the Rokaka fruit, and he's like looking back really like, hey, like, you know, you need a band-aid. Yeah, whatever. So let's get into some later parts now. So they're in the hospital, right? And the Rai is getting attacked by all his furniture and umbrellas that were hitting him. I'm not entirely sure what the layout of the hospital looks like, and I'm not entirely sure where this stuff is coming from. I don't think it's being conjured. I think for some reason he's done something and he's become the center of gravity in a sense. I'm reminded of Mariah Stan, where Joseph became the conduit for metal, magnetism, and things just kept flying towards him. I'm kind of reminded of that, and a bit of Sea Moon, a little bit of that. So he's getting attacked. He keeps running into furniture and trying to walk after the doctor. And I'm not sure if you guys are under the belief that Satoru Akefu is Akefu, sorry, the doctor. You know, is he the main antagonist? Is he the central antagonist of this part? Because I feel like Araki's also been super good at making these different and intriguing protagonists and antagonists that have some kind of like clash in nature, personality, or similarities but differ in such a slight way, where when their final confrontation happens, it's always pretty exciting. And with this part, to me it's becoming increasingly more difficult to buy a final villain and be really stoked about him. I have complete trust in Araki. He can make it work. He's super good at it. I don't think he's really missed on a villain, in my opinion. I think Diavolo to me and Kira are Diavolo and oh my lord, Cars are probably bottom two for me. I know a lot of people don't like Poochie. I think Poochie's fine, but obviously Dio's iconic. Kiro's great. Funny Valentine. Don't get me started on him. Go, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see about this guy. But now I think that the stand that's attacking them could be him, but I think it's Toru. And I fucking hate this guy's hair. I hate everything about him. He's trying to ruin the relationship between Josuke and Yasuo. And I'm not here for this. I need this love to flourish, so I need him to back the fuck up. But that being said, you should know by now how much Araki is a big fan of the art of the unknown. It's scarier to not know than it is to know. Whether it's a negative or positive thing, like, oh, I like this person. Oh, they don't like me back. Yeah, it hurts. At least you have a definite, concrete answer. It's a no. It's that middle part when you're fluctuating. Like, could it work? This and that. That's like the unknown portion. That's the worst part. So he likes to like start off a stand battle where it's like, what the fuck are they doing sometimes? And he especially loves to do this when he's kind of introducing the ability of the main central antagonist of the part, where you kind of have like the beginning of Dio's world, kind of. Remember when Polnareff was trying to walk up the stairs and Dio kept stopping time, running on the stairs, putting it back to the first step, running back up, back to his original pose. Like, obviously trying to kind of figure out Bites the Dust. That was, you know, thing like hard to really get. I'm also reminded of D4C. Not Love Train, sorry, but the first time it was introduced and it was like the who shot Johnny Joestar, kind of like, what the fuck is going on? He likes to do that. I'm getting that kind of vibe here because I feel like the camera angles, the speed in which he's walking and which way they keep seeing him is not like, it's not lining up with certain events and when and how people are seeing him. It's kind of seems like this doctor guy's all over the place. So I'm wondering if they're both somehow using their stand abilities, or one of them. But I think it's Toru. I think Josuke is right, and he's fucking with them. And I like the subplot of their romance to me is very important because like I think when there is drama in a romantic comedy or series or whatever, that's when I get like, oh, my heart starts beating fast. You know, I'm like, please don't do this in my relationship, or please ruin this relationship, homework, cusp of chaos, whatever. And he seems to be doing this. Now, I don't trust him, and I'm not entirely sure if he actually really likes Yasuo. But before I get to that part, I love the double spread where he's like, I just saw Toru just now, and he's trying like, okay, like I know what you saw, and you might know he's my ex, this and the other, but she's like, listen, I don't have any feelings for him. It was a long time ago. You know, don't think there's something between us. And I'm very happy she said that. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, and I hope she means it. Josuke gave the really cool guy answer, like, listen, man, I'm trying to get the Rokaka branch. I trust you. Don't worry about that. I said, yo, man, that is exactly some shit I would have said at that point. You don't want to sound too like, oh, God, thank God. Like, okay, I was kind of worried. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. I wasn't tripping. You know, you want to sound cool about it. So I really like that exchange. But obviously, like, immediately after this happens, Toru actually calls her phone. And he's like, hey, you know, phone call. She's like, hey, I'm doing something, I'm busy. Give me a second. Voicemail. And he inevitably gets a little curious and he listens. And she's like, yo, when I touched your hand, I know you felt the same way we do. I felt like this voicemail was very, very well planned because he started off with, you know, you feel the same way I do. So that's immediately is trying to put doubt in either her or him when they hear it. And you have to, basically at this point, you have to kind of question his motives. You just here to help the doctor. Does he does he see Yasuo as one of those? Is he one of those fuck boys where it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm not dating her no more, but I kind of have her on the roster, so to speak. And if she tries to move on, that's when I kind of, hey man, I really still care about you, blah blah. To kind of keep her in close proximity, you don't want to let her move on too much. Listen, man, I'm not saying it's right, but humans do shit like this. It happens, and I'm not gonna act like I haven't done some shit like that before, or even had it happen to me. So when you feel someone drifting away, you're like, no, pull back. Or is he doing this purposely to try to get there to be some kind of discord in between Josuke and Yasuo? So when the attack happens or when he's ready to pounce or whatever, make a move, there's no unity amongst them. So you can kind of divide and conquer. Like, what is he really up to, kind of thing. But when he sent that picture of them and he saw, like, oh no, don't do this. It's not the time for this, Tori. Fuck you. I don't like him. But this kind of love drama is something I thought was really needed and really good. So I did appreciate it because it made me feel a lot of things. That being said, the chapter ends with the Rai legs coming apart. I said, holy fucking shit, this is one hell of a cliffhanger. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, what is going on? Like, did those pieces of furniture hit him enough that happened? Like, what's happening? I do think that with his ability, he could probably find a way somehow to kind of, rectify it or attach it in the same way Jojolion can do patchwork on herself. But yo, I thought overall great chapter, good build up for what's to come. It carried on the other things that happened prior very well into this chapter, and I can't wait to see what happens in 86. If there's anything about this chapter or Jojolion, whatever in general you want to talk about in the comment section below, say it. Anything about this chapter you think I forgot to mention, let me know. And listen, man, fuck Toru. Have yourself a beautiful Dwang. I don't really know what I'm calling this yet, but Morioh Cho Radio Broadcast Alternate Morioh Town something signing off. You're